Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we will be talking about a continuing very active pattern that will be just bringing a lot of cool weather for certain areas of the country, for large areas of the country. We'll be also bringing very warm conditions for other parts of the country, and also, of course, with any storm, there will be quite a bit of rain, precipitation, and snowfall. So this one won't be as aggressive, these several systems actually, because it's not just one. In terms of snowfall, they won't be as aggressive. It's warmer, so big snowstorms are harder and harder to occur. We did have obviously a few very large ones in the past, really in April, right? This April. But these are going to be bringing just rain, and that still could cause some problems across several areas, and I'll be explaining why in just a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much what we'll be talking about, and let's just start let's just jump right into this. So first off, I want to say that the National Weather Service map, Weather Ready Nation map, you could see looks rather calm, and you may see those blotches right there of color of red, blue, and darker blue. You'll be wondering, what these things are. This isn't really to do with active precipitation or any sort of dangerous weather. This is probably the most dangerous part. It's red flag warnings. That's the risk for a fire threat with high winds and pretty warm conditions here. There could be a risk of fire, which is why they have these red flag warnings posted for a good portion of Kansas and Nebraska. Do note that these are frost and freeze advisories with that cool air. As I was talking about, there will be a lot of areas that have already have bud break, that have had already bloom from trees, plants, vegetation, and now very cold temperatures will be kind of coming in. So let's just click on a random location in northeastern Missouri that is under a freeze warning, and you can see that it could be pretty cold, right? 31. So that definitely will be damaging plants that are not frost tolerant and whatnot. Do note we do have many river flood warnings, advisories. There was a lot of heavy rain across these areas, creating rivers and creeks to be very high in terms of the water level. We do also have some widespread areas of flash flood warnings, not warnings, but flood warnings, flood advisories, and river flood warnings across these areas where we've had a lot of rain, a lot of snow, just a lot of precipitation in the past several weeks, and it looks as if this pattern may continue for this area in the long term. But you can see for the next few days, pretty calm, so that will be very nice to dry out. But notice by Friday night, precipitation 80%, 70%, so it starts to get active yet again. And yeah, that's just pretty much a rundown of what we have going down right now in terms of advisories, warnings. So, pretty calm, right? I mean, there's nothing really too extraordinary. Obviously, there are some rain events and some snow events going on, but they aren't really big right now. You can see we have this decaying cold front across the eastern United States. This is bringing showers anywhere from southeastern Canada all the way into the southeastern United States. Some nasty storms across Texas. Nothing too severe, though. And this will continue to progress into Texas, Louisiana. Houston could be seeing some thunderstorms by tonight in the evening. And notice that this kind of continues to peter out. Those frost and freeze warnings that are issued, you can see, are caused by this cool area, those blue colors. That's behind this big storm system that, has been going on for the past few days. And that's going to move in tonight and into tomorrow night for areas, especially across Michigan, Ohio, for tomorrow night versus tonight. It's where the areas have the colors marked on the map. And do note that after that system pulls away, a bit of snow for Maine, a bit of snow for cities like Quebec, definitely a few inches is possible, if not likely. You can see right there. But what we have that's a bit of a bigger deal is you can see this pattern starting to get active across the west. We see activity across the Pacific Northwest starting to get active, and we have one system today into tomorrow and Wednesday. But the big one that we're kind of on the lookout for is one that sneaks in right here. So notice we do have already some activity from the one that's moving inland tonight. That will be eventually across the plains by Thursday, accompanied with warm air, strong winds. So again, maybe a fire danger that's also relatively high. But note, right here is where we see a lot of precipitation and energy sneak in, and this already adds to the existing energy floating around and that low pressure that was starting to take shape. And this results in a rather explosive system. Notice that by Friday and into Saturday, We see a lot of, again, very strong winds, moisture transport from the Gulf of Mexico. That's pretty efficient. The cool air is now pretty much secluded just towards the northeast, or below average conditions, I should say. And notice the system spins up, right? A bit of snow, very likely, especially where that rain is falling heavier. That kind of supports dynamic cooling. It's because of how heavy it's falling, it cools the atmosphere, leading to a bit of snow across these areas. But notice most of the areas just rain, and this is now Saturday into Sunday. You can see it's slow moving, affecting areas that have seen a lot of rain in the past few weeks, so that definitely could add to some flood concerns. Do note that its cold front is rather weak. No severe storms or severe storms will be kind of produced from it, though its remainder energy by Sunday and afternoon could lead to some severe weather across Oklahoma and Texas. This is definitely something to watch for. But notice by then that the main system is kind of broken apart. So we do have a system that moves in right Wednesday into Thursday across the northwest and into the plains, Friday into Saturday and Sunday, but no snow, it seems, out of significant proportions. A few areas could pick up several inches, but again, it's rather isolated. You can see this system, mainly a rain event, but a few areas could pick up some bits of snow. Canada could pick up a bit more, where the colder air is a bit more plentiful. And do note that the pattern continues. We have another system moves in from the northwest, combines with the energy from that severe weather from the south. That kind of stemmed off that decaying cold front. And notice that we have another system. Now this is almost, a week and a half out, so this is far out, but you can see it continues. A little bit of snow, again, kind of spins up this cool air, producing this cooler pattern across the north, as there will be cloud cover, rain, so it just produces below average conditions and potentially even breaking some records in terms of the cool weather. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So notice we have an even bigger system moves in right after that one again, so continued activity. Pretty broad, right? It's affecting a lot of the United States. I'll show you the precip map at the end of this 15-day forecast. It's almost every region of the United States gets impacted, maybe excluding extreme of southern Florida and a good portion of the southwest. And do note that the system, you can see right there, does end up meandering around. It's not as significant as the other ones, but it is definitely for the west a bit bigger. And then for the plains, it kind of decays, but still brings a decent amount of rain. And notice, in terms of total accumulated precipitation, we see, again, this is what I mean. Look, the northwest is pretty much covered with a good decent amount of rain. The northern plains, the northern United States as well, decent rains. The northeast, decent rains. Southeast, also decent rains. A bit less for Florida here, Georgia. Still, they could expect something. And then the most concerning area is kind of the southwest drying out, but it's a rather small area, and it could be way worse. I mean, this time last year, it was just a fragment of the United States seeing this wet weather, and a lot of the United States was entering into or kind of entering drought conditions. This time, this should keep things relatively tame, maybe even bringing some precip for California, which, for early May isn't too usual. And hopefully we could see this kind of weather pattern continuing into June, maybe. That would be very beneficial, but again, with this weather, it's hard to say how long things will continue. Though, one good sign of this pattern continuing is this. Again, look at this. Look how expansive that precip shield is. That is very, very expansive. You don't always see that. It's kind of like, for once, the weather is being fair to everyone in terms of its precipitation. I don't want to focus on the precip when I'm showing the ensembles, because I want to demonstrate the anomalies. So one thing that will support this is if we continue seeing cooler weather across areas that have seen cooler weather. That means, then the rain will be kind of also coming in similar fashion, which has been beneficial to many areas. And notice that, right? Cool across the kind of the Midwest, the Northeast, warmer towards the South and West, and towards the South, though, again, not always. You can see the South getting in on some cooler weather as well. But as he pushes forward, notice that the area, especially here, stays stubbornly chilly. It's not a huge indicator. It's barely below average, but at least it's not above average. And the models have been continuously showing this pretty much from late March. We've been stuck in this rather dynamic pattern. And obviously the colors are much brighter when it's closer in time. The models are more confident on what will occur. But notice, right, the cool air kind of staying towards the Midwest, the Northeast, portions of the South, maybe the West Coast with any moving in system, bringing cloud cover, right? And in the long range, we see this pattern continuing. So it doesn't seem like any prolonged heat wave will be occurring. Maybe I'm concerned about Texas, Oklahoma, for obviously because of the drought, drier conditions, lower soil water levels. So that leads to drier conditions being a bit more prevalent. But even that doesn't seem too long-lived. And you can see that the cooler air kind of meanders its way through bit by bit, well into May potentially. So continuing the pattern we've been in, which again hopefully prompts that that decent precipitation kind of benefit. You could see a lot of areas seeing above average throughout the time as this kind of shifts with each passing storm system. And really, the European models, the European ensembles also supporting similar things. You can see this is, let's take a look at the, let's take a look at the 500 height anomaly. This basically shows us any troughs, any ridges, anywhere you see a trough is usually where we have cooler air that kind of sweeps in. So again, you can see here, pretty much out ahead of any storm system, we will have warmer air. So the European models do show that, but taking a look at the height anomalies a bit further up in the atmosphere, though still pretty accurate. You can see it shows, again, just a cooler pattern mixed by a little bit of warmth. But again, that cool air especially prevalent across the northern United States. And you could see that on the European model, which I was showing you, it's ensembles. In terms of the European singular model, it also shows a lot of activity, right? There's our storm system, our first one moving in, which is going to move in today into tomorrow night, affecting the Midwest, the plains, and then the second one kind of reinvigorating that, leading to that explosive system on the plains. Again, the European shows a bit more snow as it's further north and west, shows equally, as big amounts of rain, a decent cold front, some severe weather across the south, taking on more of that summer characteristics of kind of being just there without any support from a low pressure of any strength. That's more characteristic of a summer pattern, which we're well on our way into at this point. It's already you could say mid-spring at least. And do note that what we do have is, again, just a lot of activity for a varied area of the United States. A lot of snow, a lot of cold. Snow mainly across Canada and extreme northern United States, but still a chilly pattern nonetheless. No heat wave for the northern United States, that's for sure. Total accumulated precipitation, again, pretty generous across the northeast. The southeast, not so much, but again, all it takes is just one little thunderstorm event, and that could be altered potentially. The south, the north, the northwest, again, the southwest, the region that needs it probably the most is getting missed out, which is a bit unfortunate, but it definitely could be worse. So that's the that's the main point of, I guess, being cheered up on. I showed you the GFS, showed you the European. Let me show you the Canadian. Its precipitation outlook remarkably similar. You could see just the southwest being kind of missed out from the best of the rain, and portions of the Pacific Northwest, according to this Canadian, also being missed out, which would not be good as these areas are very hard hit with drought. And I can show you the United Kingdom model. This one only goes out to 144 hours, so not as much, but still though maintaining that pattern. Really, just the southwest getting avoided. And in terms of its temperature anomalies, if it is cooler, it's behind again each one of those systems, and that's going to be across the Midwest and Northeast. You could see that across the 144-hour time frame, there's a little bit of warmer that does sneak in periodically, but that's pretty much wicked away by cooler air right behind that. So again, a pretty, I guess, pleasant spring pattern. It'll be gradually warming, obviously, as spring, the sun gets stronger and longer in the sky. The cooler air has a harder time to income of any, frost danger or freeze warnings, but still, it'll keep things capped. Let me take a look at, my location, for example, as I just want to emphasize this. You can see today, right, 50s. Average for my area is around 62 for this time of the year, 60-ish. And obviously, as we get towards May, it's more in the mid-60s. But notice, right, 51, 43. That's a bit too chilly, right, for my preference. 47 Thursday, and then Friday, 54. Saturday, 56, 64. So this is going to be a pattern replicated across a lot of the Midwest. Just these cooler temperatures. Not horrible weather. A lot of sunny days intermixed here. And if there is going to be a big system, then there will be a brief warm-up like we saw this weekend across the United States, where many areas across the Midwest pricked up into the 80s, 70s on Saturday and Sunday, and then went back into the chilly weather. That probably will continue. You can see Iowa, usually a bit more volatile during this time of the year with those temperature swings. Again, 59, 68, 64. That's relatively calm and pretty stable in terms of those temperatures. So that is that, and that's kind of all I wanted to cover, all I wanted to show you. I could actually show you the climate prediction outlooks. So this is the 6 to 10 day outlook. If you recall, this just goes out anywhere from 6 to 10 days, and what the Climate Prediction Center, which is probably the most reliable source, thinks. And you can see again that pattern, right? Warmer across the south, cooler across the north, northwest, and portions of the northeast. Now through the 8 to 14 days, so again going from 8 to 14 days, a slightly longer and wider outlook. You can see really the same areas being cool, relatively the same areas being warm. And in terms of precip, again, pretty generous, right? A lot of the United States above average, or just at least not drying out. Again, unfortunately, the Four Corners area where they need it the most will be kind of drier. Still, there's some hope that at least into Northern California there could be some precipitation. And do note, 8 to 14 days really stays remarkably the same. So it's a continued kind of similar pattern, I would say, to what you've been seeing. And whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I guess that's just up to your personal preference. This is now what the official forecast from the Weather Prediction Center agency thinks will be in terms of precipitation. This goes out to 168 hours. You could see they're mainly showing that big system, and though again you could see across the south decent amounts. North and east, not too much, but again, I guarantee if this were to go out to another 100 hours, this would probably start filling in. And you can see day one excessive rainfall threats really secluded towards the south and nothing too significant. And obviously we'll have to monitor, especially once that system moves in across the northern plains, there could be some excessive rainfall. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya.